welcome to the first webinar of our webinar series this January from the UNICHE project, titled Stories Anywhere, Digital Storytelling Across Devices and Spaces. Today we'll be presenting the StoryMaker technology being developed by the Athena Research Center and evolving in the project of UNICHE. Let's see what we're going to be doing today. You will already have received the agenda of this webinar, but let's take it together as well. So 10 to 10:05, yes, we've been on time, welcoming you coming into our first webinar. The next 5 minutes will be about introducing you about what echoes and UNICHE are, why they matter, and why this webinar fits into the wider cultural heritage cloud. Next on, we're going to be talking about the objectives and the guidelines of this webinar series and this webinar specifically. We're going to be giving you furthermore examples of digital storytelling by utilizing our technology StoryMaker, real use cases that we have tried it before. Next, we're going to be having a presentation of our authoring tool of StoryMaker, and you will be called to optionally if you want to walk through it with us. It's completely optional, and we'll give you more directions when the time comes. Furthermore, this is the bigger code design part of our webinar. We would like to have some of your feedback in our brainstorming, in our design phase of user requirements right now. Every input is really valuable for us, and I'm going to explain to you how this is going to happen interactively and online. Next on, we're going to open the floor to everybody for an open Q&A session through the Teams infrastructure. And in the end, we're going to be asking you to fill up a short survey about our user requirements, to give your feedback into our processes right now and to evaluate this workshop. So, UNICHE. As you can see in the logo, we have on the left-hand side the logo of Echoes, and on the right-hand side the logo of UNICHE. The UNICHE project is the project that we are involved in, and it aims to create an intuitive, technology-agnostic black box platform as a no-code, single-entry, collaborative authoring tool for cultural heritage experiences. What it means is that a lot of partners were gathered together, bringing different technologies from different backgrounds to create something that cultural heritage professionals such as yourself can utilize and use effectively without needing to hard code anything. And the UNICHE project is part of the ECHOES project. The ECHOES project is the big umbrella project that is the lead coordinator of organizing the Cultural Heritage Cloud, a platform designed to provide heritage professionals to access to data, scientific resources, training, but also advanced digital tools tailored to suit their needs. Well, this is where we fit in. A little bit more about the UNICHE project. We want a single entry platform, and the basic components that we want is that it has a no-code authoring tool environment, for it to be collaborative, to be AI assisted, and to be integrated with the cultural heritage cloud that is being created. The ultimate goal is to create interactive visitor experiences in multiple formats, to have mobile experiences, XR experience, but also phygital experiences. Our values are based on the 4 E's: exhibits, experience design, exhibitions, and evaluations. You can see in a little bit of our grand architecture schema, and I'll try to explain it to you in a very simple way. So the cultural content that you see on the last part of our schema is channeled through the ECCH and utilized and repurposed in our environment to create experiences that are AI assisted, that go through our platforms, through our tools, and the experiences are exhibited in different formats, from a mobile to an XR, AR, VR, and different formats and in the end to be evaluated and fed back to the creation. We're going to be testing our technologies and our all no-code platform in 4 scenarios in 3 internal pilots. One of our pilots is going to be centered in open-air archaeological sites with our 2 collaborators, 2 partners, the Dutch Archaeological Institute in Athens and CNR ISPC in Italy, talking about the archaeological site of Calapodi and Ugento. We're going to be centered also in museum exhibitions, stable museum exhibitions with our partner Museo Galileo in Italy. And we're also going to be testing our technology in portable exhibitions with our partners, the Museum of Architecture of Wrocław and the architecture firm Mia Prestonia. I'm so sorry if I'm spelling it wrong. Okay, so further on, we're not going to have only internal pilots in our project. We're also going to have an open funding call for third parties to be announced further on in the life circle of our project, where we would call third parties to use the UNICHE platform that we have created to design, develop, and deploy interactive experiences, portable exhibitions, museum exhibitions, open-air archaeological sites, like we would have already tested beforehand. So keep an open eye for those. We'll be opening them up further on in our life cycle. A little bit more about the ECHOS project and the Cultural Heritage Cloud. The Cultural Heritage Cloud, or European Collaborative Cloud for Cultural Heritage, is a European Union initiative for the creation of digital infrastructure that will connect cultural heritage institutions and professionals across the EU. It will develop specific digital collaborative tools for the sector while removing barriers for smaller and remote institutions. The goal is to help cultural heritage institutions, research organizations, and other professionals of all sizes and types of work to deal with digital objects in a more visible, interconnected, harmonized, and informed way. We would like to allow them to successfully cope with the challenges that digital transition poses to the sector. So the Cultural Heritage Cloud is built and anchored on the principles of open science, which promote inclusion and democratize access to knowledge and digital assets for all. This digital ecosystem will allow the creation of a new generation of heritage objects, the digital commons, as you can see in the middle of this graph, which are semantically rich and collectively produced. Upon completion, the ECHOS project will provide a unified platform to integrate the outcomes of EU and national projects related to cultural heritage. And this is the ecosystem of the ECHOS project where we are part of. So it's a central coordinator of the Cultural Heritage Clouds, and it leads an ecosystem of sister projects. You can see us on the right-hand side, UNICHE. We're part of the tool projects that are funded under Horizon Europe to develop specialized tools and use cases for the cloud platform. Okay, the webinar that we are watching today is part of a series that was introduced during January, and it's going to be 5 focus sessions. We are today in the first one, the 15th of January, and the 4 next ones will follow. And our partners and us will present solutions, demonstrate real use cases, and invite you to interactively co-design with us. Why join? Because you'll get to get an early insight into our partner technologies, discover and gain confidence in future digital tools, even without technical background, actively contribute to what we will be evolved as a unique suite, engage with experts across different realms of culture, XR, AI, and storytelling, help really use we really use real user needs from yourself, so it can be grounded on real needs. And also, I have highlighted this too much, maybe. Be prepared for the open call that would come along the way to test our technologies, test our suite, and understand what fits best your idea. Let's see, this specific workshop, though, you will learn what StoryMaker authoring tool is all about. You will familiarize yourself with its application on digital storytelling through the examples that we're going to show you. And you're going to help us define key requirements for the tool's future. Okay, a little bit more on the guidelines. Today, our interactive feedback is going to be through Mentimeter. To those that are not accustomed to it, there's 3 ways that we are helping you join to our interactive feedback. You can use your phone or you can use your laptop. We would recommend to use your phone. And you can either go into the website menti.com and use this code so you can join us for your interactive feedback. You can either scan the QR code and it will direct you straight away to our interactive presentation, or you can just use the link that Maria, my colleague, will also paste in the chat so you can have available. And as soon as you enter Mentimeter, you'll see the presentation in your screens on your phones. So let's test it out to see if everybody is on board. How are you feeling today? Simple question. You can be happy, you can be excited, you can be bored. Interested. Fine. Stressed. Oh, I hope it's not a too stressful day. I hope we'll make things a little bit more joyful. Starting your day. Nice. I see people are getting the hang of interactive feedback of Mentimeter. Curious, sleepy. I'm a little too. But no, the excitement of this webinar has woken me up. Very good. Now that I've seen that you've gotten the hang of it, let's move on to the next question so I can get more about who is joining us today. Also, of course, if anybody has any questions, please use the chat of the meeting and my collaborators will help you. So let's see who is joining us today. Share your professional background, please. Are you a cultural heritage expert? Are you an archaeologist? Are you a museologist? Are you coming more from the technological digital sector? Okay. Let's see who is joining us today. We have a lot of people coming from technology and a lot of archaeologists. Wow, it's a good intersection. That's what we really need. People from cultural heritage and digital, computer science. Yes, cultural heritage manager, photographer, a lot of archaeologists, close to my heart. My my main core is the archaeologist inside me that have turned into the digital part of mine. Okay, good, very nice. So this is the warm-up, and I'll give you more time into the more substantial questions that we're gonna have. Okay, I'm glad that we are all on board. Let's move on. So let's talk about digital storytelling and examples that we have utilized so far with StoryMaker. Let's say, what is digital digital storytelling in the beginning? Is the representation of possible worlds through linguistic and visual media, centered on protagonists acting within time and space, enabling immersive engagement for the audience. Why does it really matter? Why do we need digital storytelling today? Because a lot of traditional ways don't fail sometimes to create this emotional connection that we need, the immersion to create memorable experiences with the exhibit and the cultural heritage around us. Sometimes a narrative supported with digital means can transport the visitor to the scene, doing what we would have a passive viewing, passionate traditional viewing, into an emotional experiential understanding that you share with other visitors or that you have by yourself. And digital storytelling can take different forms. Today we'll show you examples, 3 different examples. one of a more linear story from point A to B to C, an interactive digital narrative, something that you can choose your path through the story, through the narrative, and a guided dialogue based activity, a more social, interactive way powered by digital tools, especially StoryMaker. So, the first example is an experience that we had developed for the History Museum of the National Kapodistrian University of Athens, and it's called What Should I Study? It is a linear story that has a linear sequence of scenes. It's clear as what it's aiming for. It's smooth, it focuses on flow, rhythm, and immersion, but you can have more choices by aiming for more information about this. It's centered in the Museum of Athens, and you can go through the museum in the exhibits like you were a Greek, you were visiting the first Greek university through the eyes of a student in 1840. And in this, you can be motivated to visit and know the museum by combining facts with fiction. So a narrative that is based on facts, on historical information. We have 3 levels of narration for that. The main character, as you can see, we also, Emmanuel, a male student. We also have the female student, but it's a trick because female students were not allowed there. So you also get to know a little bit about the historicity. So we only have the main character. The time is not linear as the rest of the experience. So you can have flash forwards, back and forward into the past and the present as it relates to the narrative of the story. And what I mentioned before, you can get more information about what is mentioned in the narrative, more facts through our narrator, the owl, which gives additional information about the exhibits that you're seeing and the history of the period. Whoever wants to try that, it's offered on Google Play, What Should I Study? And you can say it more in your own time, even maybe visit the museum and tell us your feedback. Next on, we have our interactive experience that is centered in the day of the life of a servant in the ancient Agora of Athens. It's, as we told you, it's interactive, so you are the agent. You get your choices, get to have an impact on how the story evolves. So you start from the same spot, and according to your choices, the plot of the story changes. You can have different endings, and you really get to learn how your choices affect and impact the root of history. So this experience is rich in multimedia. It's centered in the ancient Agora of Athens, as we've told you, and you get 7 decision points. So during the narrative, you get to choose 7 times and have 15 alternative endings. We went really deep with that. You can have something more simple, but 15 alternative endings will give you the whole world. We wanted to really test the limits of how StoryMaker can produce in the branching narratives. It was originally designed for to be utilized while visiting the site, but we saw great success during the pandemic as you can be transferred in the ancient Agora through the narrative. So we had a lot of positive feedback during the pandemic as to how rich this narrative was to transform people there. A little bit of an example, a little bit of a sneak peek before I present the authoring tool. Here you can see that each part of the story can be staged in a physical space. You can see in Stitholo in the blue for people that don't speak Greek. You have the narration part. You have then the agents, the actors having a dialogue. And for that to work, you can also add visuals with images. For each actor, you can also have audio files, so you can oversight to be on top of the dialogue. Of course, this is in Greek. You can have an English version. You can have different languages. Moving on to our third example, the guided dialogue example. We're presenting you the 13 interviews about the Greek composer Nikos Kalkotas, and this was a project done for the Music Archive in the Lilian Voudouris Music Library of the Friends of Music Society of the Megaron, the Athens Concert Hall. And this was a dialogue-based experience, so we'll have short narratives with conversation prompts. These could take the form of open-ended questions, provocations, connection prompts, how we're connecting the past to the present, similarities, the similarities. The actual objective is to spark reflection in a group and a group or personally, because it prompts you for a dialogue, prompts you for introspection, and to take to see the different perspectives that this can offer. So the actual story here was a fictional journalist, which is assigned the task of writing a tribute to Nikos Kalkotas that had died a few years earlier, and we follow him while he interviews people from the composer's life. This experience is addressed to groups of 2 to 6 users. You can do it alone, but also it's not going to have the same impact. And each user can use their mobile device while using it. So you start from the same point. All the group are introduced to. It's taking place at the editor's office, and you're introduced to the general concept, and you have a small activity, and you can either choose 4 different periods of the composer's life, either Halkida or Athens or Berlin or Athens again in different time periods. You'll have actors interacting through a dialogue form during these periods, and then you are prompted to do different discussion activities. The variations can lead you can either choose one and go to the epilogue, or choose 2 or 3 and go through the full experience. All these interviews are based on historical research, and through utilizing some sort of fiction, we can promote dialogue through the information gap, what you know, what you don't know. You can listen music together and have some reflection and discussion activities, but also questions about what is mentioned during the dialogues. Okay, so after the time of presentation, it's time to use Mentimeter again. Get your phones ready, and we'll get some feedback from you as it refers to that. Let's see your background again. Have you ever participated in the design of a digital storytelling experience? Have you ever created something similar? I'm saying that, okay, most of the people so far have participated in something like that. I have seen before, we had a lot of museologists, archaeologists. Let's say our digital collaborators have done something like that. Okay, so I see most of us. Okay, as I'm letting more and more people participate into the design. Okay, moving on then. Could you tell us which one, something maybe we know or we don't know, something that is what you're most proud of as a digital experience that you have designed? Give us some examples. Okay, we have people of our team or people from the Megaron, possibly. That, as we can see, want to continue to collaborate and watch our news. Good thing. Okay, a lot of 13 interviews. Okay. Okay, nice. Proselevsis, Myelevsis, the European capital. Niche. I'm gonna give a little bit more time here because it's not just one button. So many, yes. Here, I'm here with you. So many. When you start, there is no stopping. Kalkotas. I'll give it a little bit more time. Typing takes a little bit more time. Niche. So many. I guess there's so many to be to be mentioned. I think I'll wait to reach until 10 people to move on further. Come
So
on.
three more.
Yes, three more, three more, three more. Yes. Ozan, 1982. Never heard of that. Workshop in Florence. Ah, people that have come back. None, but I'm excited to do it soon. Okay, good. Let's move on then to our next question. Have you ever experienced a digital storytelling experience? Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to to tell me which one. I'm saying that people haven't as well. That's interesting. Uh, because there's so many available now, and different cultural institutions, organizations. Let's see. Still, though, I can say majority is leaning towards yes. Yeah, that's how. If you have a lot of experience, I expect to follow through through all the webinar. I like it. Okay. A lot of experience. More experience into having a digital storytelling rather than creating one, designing one. That makes sense. Okay, let's move on. I would say, okay. So it is time to see our technology. So we'll be presenting the two components of our StoryMaker technology, where the one component is where it's called Story Design Editor, when you can create your concept and structure it. And then the next one is Storyboard Editor, where the concept and the structure that you have created can be embellished with screens, images, multimedia, more text, narratives, etc. This is the production part. So, as I've told you before, this is going to be a presentation of the technology with an optional walkthrough from everybody. It's open for everybody. My colleague Maria will paste the link for you to log in and create your own author name that you can use after the webinar as well. I would tell you to use a W01, webinar 01, and your initials, maybe W01. My initials are AV, or you can be more descriptive if you want. And you can follow through the exercise. If you do not wish or you cannot follow, please watch me go through it. If you have any small, simple issues that are arising, you can address them in the chat. But please, we're not going to stop, unfortunately, because we have limited time to assist you. And but after the webinar, for anybody that is interested, we can send tutorials, guidelines, everything to practice after the webinar. Okay, so let me start with the tutorial. If you have logged in through this link, you will be directed into this page, and I'll go ahead and give my very imaginative author name, webinar, and I'm logging in. If you have put your author name, you would be directed into this screen. You can see your username on the right-hand side. Search is not very useful right now because you don't have a lot of different stories. So let's create a new script, a new project. Okay. When you create a new project, you're directed into the screen that is looking like a Word doc or a Google Doc, but it's much more interactive. So to start creating our concept of the story, let's say we want an interactive digital storytelling story. So for that, we'll need to create parts of the story. When you can create part by either clicking this button, or on your left hand side this button, or Control Alt and P. You can press on the untitled and call it something very imaginative, as I'm doing right now, part 0, and now it has a name. Let's create 2 more parts since we want to create an interactive story. Part 1, let's call this part 2. Okay, so the next part, in order to connect the next part of parts, and next step is to connect these parts together. How we are connecting these parts? We are connecting them through branches. Again, through here or through here, you can add a branch. You can name your branch 1, I will call it, and let's connect this branch 1. So we're connecting part 0 with one of the other parts. See? So we are in part 0, and I want to connect part 0 with part 1. Good. Now we have connected part 0 with part 1. And you can actually see that in the different schema view. As you can see, part 0 is connected with part 1. Part 2 is all alone up there because it has no connections. So let's connect part 2 as well. I'm giving another branch here to part 0. Let's call it branch 2, and connect part 0 with part 2. See, part 2 is not lonely anymore, so part 0 is connected to part 1 and part 2. All good so far? Okay, so this is the way that we have our starting point and 2 different alternatives. And if we would like to connect also part 1 with part 2, we could also put another branch as well and connect part 1 with part 2. As you can see, you can also have this part, but you can also go back from one part to part 0. So from part 1, we can also go back, branch 4. Okay, you can also create branches like this. I forgot to tell you. So going back from part 1 to part 0, you can see another arrow is created. So these are all connections of the parts of our story. This can be a little bit more complicated, but I just wanted to show you how branches are created. Let's move on to the connection, to the production phase of our structure, of our design. So you can press on your username and move on to your storyboard editor, which is the place where you can produce what you're seeing. So as we were saying before, you can press part 0 and you can create different uses for this. You can create different screens. So let's call it part 0. You can create images. You can put images. We have some images from Museo Galileo. And you can put an image for your part. You can put text. You can put audio. But we want to connect, and you can put more than one screen for each. Let's put an interactive book. You can put a cover page of the book, and you can create more pages. Let's say another page that we could have called it cover 1. Okay, let's press save. So, but for each part, you can put more than one screen. But right now, if I would start playing, let's go from, this is part 0. You go to part 0 still in your interactive book. But after that, you cannot move on further because you don't have screens for part 1 and also connection points. So let's create a screen for part 1. Let's do a simple one. Again, let's create a different image, a plain astrolabe, let's say. Okay. And now we need to connect part 0 with part 1. As you remember, part 0 with part 1, they can be connected in 2 ways. And also part 0 can be connected to part 1 and part 2. Let's create a screen also for part 2, just to have it. Part 2, and an image for that as well, pendulum. Okay, so to go from part 0 to part 1 and 2, you have to create connection points. You can create a menu. So the menu, what it does, it creates a list to connect your branches. So remember the branches, the connection points. So we have 2 branches, branch 1 and branch 2. Let's see again how this is connected. So we go from our first screen to our second screen, which is the interactive book. And then we are guided to our menu. Do you want branch 1 or branch 2? Do you want to go to part 1 or part 2? Oh, and this is part 1. Let's go back. If you want to choose part 2, this is part 2, and you can go back. So this is where I will stay for now because and you can address this later on. You can see also immediately after I have created this, you can already see how our experience works. You can see that on a screen. You can see that on a mobile. You can just use the link that you have created. Moving on, going back to our presentation because I've taken a little bit more time than I needed, as we should have during this presentation. And let's go to the feedback. Okay, your feedback is useful because we want to see how we want to be aligned with the cultural heritage clouds, the AI features for the experience creation, and the collaborative features. Let's use our Mentimeter for our important questions of co-design. So, our important question: how would you like an AI assistant to help you during this experience creation? So I have showed you already through StoryMaker that you can create your concept, you can create the structure of that, but you can also create productions. So let's see, would you like an AI assistant to help you during the design phase, maybe create ideas, create the structure, templates that are fitting to your need, maybe in the production phase, production point suggestions I can see. As I can see also images and voices, that's really helpful. Suggest ideas for a story. That's nice. If you have exhibits already from your organization, maybe how you can suggest in this format and this how we will be able to produce something. Okay. I can see a lot of generative need. Help me create the narratives, find resources through repositories. Oh, that's good. Simple graph steps and branches, yes. Maybe gave it a little bit more complexity. Multimedia material. Ah, okay. Schemas and voices. Simplify the StoryMaker workflow. Yes, maybe it needs a little bit more of a simplification. Tips with the option. With other parts. Oh, okay.
Very interesting.
Help improve text. Research and creative ideas. to do the design job. Yes, the idea and the material. Okay, give recommendations. Okay, I think we can move on to the next one, the next question for us to give us feedback. Which collaborative features would you like StoryMaker to offer? Would you like two users to work on the same time? Would you like in the production, the design phase? Would you like to have access to other people's projects? Would you like to some ideas of maybe, I guess a lot of you, editor rights given to others as well as teamwork. Okay. Would you like to have your stories open? Would you like to have them private? Work together, data exchange. Okay. Reviews even. Co-edit. So you're gonna have other people reviewing the work that you have done already with StoryMaker. Data exchange also. Okay. Feedback from others. Work together. Yes. Nice. Co-editing. Yes. I know for sure that I always need an editor in what I'm doing. Spelling, expression mistakes for sure. Maybe most of my other team have better ideas as it refers to graphics and design. Users to work together like Google Docs. Okay. Shall I move on to the next part? I'll move on. I'll move on to the next question. So we gave you a brief understanding of what the Cultural Heritage Cloud is. And we would like to see what would you like for it to be utilized in our suite of tools. Would you like to have access to repositories? Maybe you would like to have access to other resources that the Cultural Heritage Cloud would have. Would you like to have data standards coming in from them? Access to exhibits, access to multimedia, access to collaborations with other organizations through the Cultural Heritage Cloud, um, complementary tools. Okay, that's good. Repositories, assets. We need all the digital data we can have, all of them. Okay. Access to assets of others organizations, yes. Also, maybe to see what are the options for accessibility to those digital assets, documentation, training. Oh yes, that would be useful as well. Yes, for sure. To creative people and technology providers, yes. Okay. I will move on to the next slide, if you'll allow me. Here we have, we'll present you the vision of what we think that StoryMaker can look like through UNICHE. In Mentimeter, you have access to interactions as thumbs up, love, thumbs down, of course, question, and you can access also the comment. You can see the pop-up that is like a chat pop-up. So you can comment while we are narrating our vision to you. So our vision for collaboration through text editing is, as you can see, in a Google Docs format. Yay. We are already, we've already thought about your suggestions. So you can see different colors for different people that are editing at the same time. This is in the part of the design editor. You can also have the AI for text refining and editing. So while you are working through your concept, You can have editing or rephrasing, shortening, elaborating. Feel free to see if you like that or you would not like that. Thumbs up, thumbs down, love, or a comment for that. Yes, people are liking it, as I can see. Let's move on more about how we envision our design editor as well. We were envisioning our cultural heritage cloud integration and AI, where you can see different exhibits on the left-hand side. What are the popular ones? What is a featured one according to what is designed in the format of StoryMaker to give some suggestions. And in the production phase, we're moving on to the production phase. And in this, again, we would like to be able to have people collaborating. But as I was showing you the screens, each collaborator will be editing one screen at a time to avoid overlapping inputs. Also, in the design editor, it was one part at a time, so we don't have overlapping versioning issues. So for the production again, screen editing, limited to one collaborator, as I was saying, and this is a little bit more zoomed in. Again, the cultural cloud integration with AI, so you can have for the production phase as well actual multimedia that you can use, as we were showing you before the story maker, adding images, adding sounds, what is available in the cultural heritage cloud for that, and also to be able to filter through all the artifact types and all the multimedia data that we have. And now, until further ado, we are open for your questions. I hope I didn't take too much of your time, and we are open. I think we have around 8 minutes left to devote it completely to the Q&A. If people need to leave earlier than the Q&A, I'll leave you some time to think about your questions right now. We would really, really appreciate if you fill up our forms before you leave for our requirements questionnaire and evaluating our webinar. And I'll leave this screen open while we're waiting for our questions to be coming in. Okay. Let's see.
Actually, Anastasia, we have more than 8 minutes because
We
it's
do. It's not
yes,
12.
yes, but we
Almost.
have
We
two
have
hours
1 hour
webinar.
left.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
so
Okay,
yes,
okay. Okay, in my
you
mind, it
did a
was
great
complete.
job, and
Super
so
time management.
yes, we have a lot of time, and if there are questions, you can also raise your hand here. Now, I think so we can and turn on your cameras and get to know each
Yes.
other, maybe. So.
Also, since we have so much time, if you want, I can give you more time when we can continue. We can go back to the screens of our vision, or more time for questioning of the open-ended questions. Hmm. Okay.
Now you can see the links for the requirements questionnaire and the evaluation questionnaire in the chat. We have a hand raised from Barbara. Hi,
Okay.
Barbara, please.
Hi. Hi. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can see you. We cannot hear you very
Perfect.
well, but
So,
if you
yeah.
can try to speak a little bit closer to your microphone.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I really like it. I mean, as we are responsible for the one of the pilots, from my perspective, it would be really, really nice to have an option to customize the graphic design of this, like the final outcome, like what the user would see this windows, like, mm, so we would like, mm, to have an option to design it, to, for example, upload fonts for what the visitor would see and how they're gonna see it.
Could you hear Barbara well? I cannot hear her very well at
Hold
this
on,
moment.
maybe I can type this question.
Yes.
I'll repeat it, Barbara. If you, when you're talking closer to the microphone, we can hear you well. Is it
Okay,
right,
maybe
Anastasia?
there is some, connection issue. I was like, wondering if my question was clear. So we would like to, to customize the design of, you know, like mm, of this layout for the end user, for the visitors. So we would like, to decide on, I don't know, like the colors, shape of the windows, and have this
So
opportunity
you're
to,
talking not about the story maker, but the story presenter, actually the final
yeah,
outcome, let's say, of
yeah,
the
yeah.
okay.
This is the part.
So you need as an author, let's say, you need to have the possibility to change somehow the aesthetics of the final product
Yeah,
within super great. This is a
yeah,
very
yeah,
very good requirement. Thank you.
yeah. So it
Okay.
would be really,
Mhm.
really nice, like to have like um as like as broad um like the how to say, like as many options as is possible, right? Because when we are focused only on the context, content, like texts, and like what what pictures or like audio to upload. I think that this is like the part that I'm, like this is not my area of expertise. Like we really need to, like decide on how it's gonna look like. And for example, the option of uploading fonts would be really, really useful for us as well.
What do you think that ready-made, let's say, templates of aesthetics in the, let's say, the final outcome would be useful to have a let's pre-prepared
Mm,
templates.
I mean, templates are nice, but it's still, I mean, I really don't, I don't know how this IT background look like, right? But I really like this idea how WordPress website look like. So I can choose the the template, and I can, like change some stuff, but I can also go into like CSS, and when I'm really like into it, and when I'm really like super uh, um, into changing some details, I can also do it.
Great. We may discuss about this requirement in the following days, months. But it's definitely a very good suggestion. And thank you so much. Laurie, would you like to ask a question?
Ah, yes, thank you. Thank you so much for this wonderful webinar. I wanted to ask for the people that might need to revisit the information here and the small tutorial, will this webinar be available somewhere accessible to the participants in the future?
I think yes, actually, in our website. I don't know if we have here our digital manager, Alex, but definitely we will inform you after the closure of the webinar series where to find the videos and presentations and so on and so forth.
Thank you.
Of course, if anybody is interested into working with Story Maker, any interested participants, please email us into our email for Unique project, or for us to send you tutorials and more in depth, and we'll be, of course, at your service to help you through creating a Story Maker experience. So, would you like to see again some of the components, maybe? Is somebody interested in how this works, how they could work?
I think Vera has a question. Hi, Vera.
Okay.
Vera Grezi from
Yes.
Leland Woodbury Library. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for the webinar. It was very interesting. I have an idea in my mind. So when I was I was listening to the presentation and how this story maker would link to the European Cultural Cloud. Is this going to be, for example, as a component or as a tool to be used by cultural heritage professionals, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm moving on to my question. Okay. No.
Yes, please.
When we as an institution, for example, the Friends of Music Society, the Music Library of Greece, will create a story in the story maker in the cloud and will be stored in the cloud. No, it's not necessary, but it's going to be a marketplace kind of, or somewhere that we can see the stories that will be made from the institutions, or we can address to a market.
Okay, the difficult part in our situation is that Unique is running together with the Echoes. The Echoes project also actually is going to give us this kind of directions and this kind of answers. And it's not very clear at this moment where exactly all these new stories, new experiences, the new data that will come by using the Cultural Heritage Cloud will be stored. I don't know, Vivi, would you like to add?
Yes, as you said, Maria, because we have this issue with the echoes running in parallel with Unique, I'm not sure I can give a definite answer, but at least in the context of Unique, we foresee such type of possibility for a marketplace like platform. This is amongst our thoughts for the moment for the vision, for the Unique vision for the platform. So at this moment, we are at the requirement stage. Since you're raising it, I suppose you propose it as something that we need to consider as a requirement and need. So this can help us shape the platform, at least a Unique platform. And as the two projects proceed, we will see what are the plans of ECHOS about this. That's I mean, I think the best answer I can give for the moment. I hope things are more clear in the following months and years.
Of course.
Yes,
I just want to underline that everything under ECHOS, the Cultural Heritage Cloud, is going to be open for everybody. It's going to be open access. So there's when we're talking about the marketplace, we're not talking. We're talking about something that is an open place where you don't need to pay monetary value. Everything is open and accessible. But yes, as Vivi was saying, that we were thinking about having access to different experiences or giving access. Of course, if you're on the way of creating something with Story Maker, let's say, you can choose to have it public or not public. This is in our thoughts as well as we are brainstorming until you're ready to have it open to the rest of the cloud, to be honest. But it's a very
Okay, thank
interesting
you.
point, Vera. We will take it down.
Is there any other question? I can see in the Q&A that we don't have posts in the chat.
Is anybody interested in asking anything
Maybe
about
if I can,
Story? Yes?
maybe if I can add something
Yes,
to the
Alex.
previous
Yes, please.
point, because I
Yes,
think
of
that
course.
goes to a very technical requirement, which I think relates to decoupling the element of storage and hosting of the finished products that are being done with the authoring tool from the tool itself and the hosting of the tool, let's say. So those are two different things, and ideally I would understand that the requirement is that an end user that would use this tool to create some experiences, some stories for a museum, would then be able to decide themselves which provider for storage and hosting they would like to use in order to have the availability of those resources online. Because of course there might be a museum that is expecting, let's say, thousands of visits a day and maybe some hundred let's say visits at the same time to access a story that might have some large media files. So there might be some important, let's say, technical requirements there, something that maybe cannot be provided on a free basis by some institution, let's say, that is part of ECOS or otherwise part of UNICHE. So we need to think of a technical requirement which is targeting this aspect of decoupling, where the story that has been produced is then being hosted and can be accessed from. So that, and make it easy that maybe there is some kind of Docker container and things that can be easily installed. And then the institution can decide, oh, I'm going to go to my local provider, I'm going to use our servers that we already have, or I'm going to go to some infrastructure at European level that I can access. So I see this in this direction, maybe.